Hello, folks. My name is Justin Race. I am the son of the king, Handsome Harley Race. You're watching Five Star Takes.
All right, guys, putting you on the spot right now. You're,
Oh,
we were a little bit before the show. We were kind of doing a little bit of talking like we normally do and stuff. But favorite cartoon character. I don't know if I want to say all time or let's say favorite cartoon character within the last 20 years.
Oh, I already said mine, and I'm sticking to it. It's Bender. Bender Bending Rodriguez is just incredible. Like the one of the best cartoon characters of all time. He's an asshole. He's kind of evil, and you can't help but fucking love him. And he's a great friend. So
He's an asshole. He's evil.
yeah.
Can't help but
But
love
he
him.
is. He's an alcoholic, and yet you can't help but fucking love the guy. He's He's
yeah.
great.
Coincidentally, I think that my favorite cartoon character is also from Futurama, but it's not Bender. I think that my favorite cartoon character, no, is Fry, dude. I
Fry's
love Fry.
is so
Fry,
awesome. Love him.
Fry is just the lovable loser. I mean, everything he does, he's shitty at. Like, he's never done anything successfully. He routinely fucks things up. Like, he has emotional outbursts that make no sense.
He's one of the
Um,
sweetest people in the fucking
but
universe.
yeah, like at Fry's core, dude, Fry is such a sweetheart and like just loves Leela, and like that's all he cares about is, like making her happy. And like also you have to think that like he's the true person who got hurt in Futurama. The man like got sent 1,000 years into the future and is employed under his great 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 grandson.
Yeah, dude. And he lost his dog.
You know
Oh,
what? I
dude,
will say
They
you
took
prehistoric
her
dog.
dog.
mentioned Fry and Leela. I will say that finale, the original run of Futurama, that series finale with Fry and Leela, that
Which
literally had me
one?
on the brink of tears. The one where they get frozen in time, but everybody's
Yeah,
frozen.
yeah. The
It's
the
just
the,
like,
the last episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
the last, yeah, like the
That
last episode.
there's a few episodes that'll just fucking like the prehistoric dog though is probably one
Is
of those.
brutal.
It's so brutal. There's like
Do you know what we're
there's
talking about, Dennis?
there's
That
very
one I
little
don't. I'm not as
joy.
it versed in Futurama as I am other
Yeah.
shows.
It's
And
a
stuff,
it's an
but
episode
that
where
one doesn't ring a bell.
Fry finds his dog and it's like basically like preserved or whatever.
They go down into the city because
The old
Leela is
city.
looking for her family, and it's only mutants down there.
But anyway, Fry
Okay.
finds his dog that's been preserved for 1,000 years, and he's trying to figure out whether or not he should like bring it back and have his dog back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. It's just a really sad episode. Like it's not very funny.
Oh no, it's not funny at all.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. I mean, I will sob watching that episode every
Yeah.
You'll
single
have to
time I
send me the
watch it.
info. You'll have to send me the
Yeah.
the episode information stuff because I have to go online. Look
But
at
they
it.
also have one of the greatest animated episodes of TV of any show, and they fucking won an Emmy with it, which is the one where they go back in time to Area 51 or whatever, and
TV.
Oh yeah.
Fry ends up like becoming his own grandfather.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's
It's so good. It's
Dennis.
brilliant.
We will leave Futurama behind, but I have to say, dude,
Yeah,
it's the greatest. Like
the
it
best.
is so unbelievably worth a start to finish watch because that show had 3 different endings. They got canceled 3 times, and all 3 of the endings were good and unique.
And they're back again now.
I was just gonna say they're back now. I think a Hulu exclusive, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start getting into
What
that.
about you, Dennis? We didn't hear you. What do you got?
All right, so for me, So it's a close toss up between two characters, both from the same show, not Futurama. But for me, I'm gonna go with my one, and that is Leopold Butterscotch from South Park.
Oh gosh.
Dude, the one where he's got the VR, where Cartman puts
Yes.
the VR headset on him.
Well,
He's just
that one, the one with his very own episode.
The one where Cartman takes a picture of his balls in his mouth.
And then he tries to win. Yeah, that one. And then his very own episode one where, it's his mom and dad's anniversary. And, he's all excited about going to Bennigan's. And then, his dad goes out, to buy a present. And, the mom sends him out to spy on him like, Inspector Butters. And he goes to find out that his dad's going to a gay movie theater and a gay spot.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, it's like I followed Dan. He went to a movie. Oh yeah, what did he go see? I think it was like Fisting Fireman #9. But I don't remember seeing
1 through 8.
And then that same episode, his mom snaps, takes him in the car, takes him out to the lake. Drives the car into the lake. She gets out, puts some brick, makes the car go in the lake, and all of a sudden he's floating down the river.
Oh, yeah.
and then he gets out somehow. He finds his, and then he
finds his way to El Pollo Loco.
Yep.
Yes,
Professor Chaos is great.
Good Times with Weapons episode.
And fucking, I swear to God, like one of the greatest, just like stupid names is General Disarray.
Yes,
dude.
Is such a good stupid fucking henchman name.
Well, that episode too, where every plan he comes up with, Simpsons did it.
Yep. They've done everything.
And then he comes up with this one about putting like something in like those chocolate covered cherries.
Oh yeah, replacing the cherries with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
With old mayonnaise.
Tonight on The Simpsons, Bart puts mayonnaise in chocolate covered cherries and then butter.
Loses his shit.
And then another one.
Although I think one of my favorite is the one with where Cartman's dressed up as the Osimo or whatever.
Yeah.
That one. Another good Butters episode is where they go to they like Stan and Wendy break up, and they take him to what they call Raisins, which is basically like version of Hooters. And then this girl, one of the waitresses is doing her thing, talking to Butters, and Butters thinks they're girl.
Yeah, he gets a date. Like he's used as like like prostitution. It's fucking great.
Yes, episode.
Yeah, that was a good one. Raisins, man. Raisins was very, very funny. That's a good one.
Yeah, and but there's one, the one episode with and then we'll get into this, the bullying one where his grandma's his bully.
Oh yeah.
And then
what am I doing, you little pussy?
They go on, I think it's like a talk show or something, and then like what it is, I can't remember if it was Dr. Phil or was whatever. He goes on some talk show or something. And then Butters snaps on the host and beats the shit out of the host. And then Stan gets in trouble for the video because I didn't know he was a psycho.
Oh shit.
All right, so we're gonna get going on the show here. Tonight's episode is going to be all about the Hall of Fame this year and stuff. So we're gonna play our opening video. When we come back, we're gonna dive right in, gentlemen.
Let Barry Bonds in.
Minus
keep
steroids.
Barry Bonds out.
Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody deserves to go into that Hall of Fame, Pete Rose deserves to go, and it's just a shame it'll never. It's going to be posthumously now.
Oh,
well, it was a lifetime ban. His life's over.
Todd Helton.
I mean, Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Wait a minute. You just said it was a lifetime ban in his life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know, but who are you punishing? Are you punishing him or are you punishing the fucking fans?
No, I agree. It's just the way you said it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, roll that shit.
that may have been the most fun pre rolling the intro video fun I've had since we've been doing this show. Ooh, excuse me, this show.
Yeah, talk about fun cartoons is fun, dude.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's a lot more fun than the first 36 minutes of AEW Dynamite on April 9th, 2025.
Can I suggest something that was some more fun than the first 36 minutes of AEW Dynamite that you were telling us about before we started recording?
Oh, no, was
dude,
passing a kidney stone?
I've never had that experience, so I can't.
Stubbing my toe violently on a weight repeatedly.
Catching the tip of my penis in the zipper.
Breaking beans.
Not only once, but twice.
But twice on the way back down.
Oh, Dennis, but what is more fun than all of those things?
Let's see, more fun than all of those.
Oh, I thought you had something.
Watching Gigi Dolan matches is way more fun.
Actually, you know what?
Hell yeah, you're right.
I'll give you that.
It's true.
At least Gigi Dolan is easy on the eyes.
Gigi Dolan's the best. She's great. Incredible. I'm just backing Shane up this one because she is caked up. There's no Nikita Lyons, but
dude,
I saw Nikita Lyons workout
not many
video.
People are. Oh.
Nikita Lyons twerks while she does push-ups, and it's the fucking greatest thing in the world.
I remember when she debuted, and it was just awesome. But you know what? She does absolutely nothing for me now.
Why'd you have to lean forward like that, you fucking weirdo?
Sort of readjusting things.
So, yeah, no. Speaking of readjusting things,
we're adding new members to the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame class, WWE 2025, right, Dennis?
Yes, sir. And
dude.
We are going to be talking about the entire class, as I believe it has been finalized with the announcement of the Legacy Wing inductees earlier today, as we're recording this on Wednesday, April 9th. But it is definitely a class that's actually got someone I am very happy who's finally going in, and we'll get to that person when we go down the list here and stuff. But I love these Hall of Fame when they do these Hall of Fames. I just wish, much like many other fans, that they had an actual Hall of Fame building like they do for
that.
Yeah, it was real.
Instead it's just imaginary.
I eventually think we will get something like that, but I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see. But
it's the most frustrating thing, and I'm sorry, Dennis, to cut you off. It's the most frustrating thing because they routinely talk about this big ass fucking warehouse of shit that they have.
Yeah.
Yep. And they show all these cool things, and it's like,
Let me go see them.
Yeah, pay to have the WWE Hall of Fame. It doesn't call it the WWE Hall of Fame, and it's just a wrestling museum. And then you have the display. It's just like Cooperstown, you know what I mean? Where it's like that's what it is.
And all of that. Are hoping to get hit Cooperstown next year at some point. By the way,
but yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Like I totally like drives me nuts because they like you said, you have this cache of fucking. They have the caskets. They have the fucking costumes.
And just shit they forgot about.
They have the shows where they're going out and buying this stuff, like from people, like from wrestlers, being like, "Hey, can we get this mask from you, or can we get this or whatever from you?" And it's like, well, then what? What are you doing with it? You're just making a TV show with it, and then you're putting it in a box somewhere.
And for me, as someone who is such a fan of wrestling history, like I enjoy going back and watching the old stuff. Speaking of going back and watching the old stuff, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you would be 5 Star Rewind, starring myself along with these two guys right here. More details on that in the near future.
It's true. Speaking of that, were we gonna chat about Austin and Bret Hart? Was that what you were saying? Speaking of rewinding.
You know what? We will definitely talk about that. But you know what? That would make for possibly part of a good series premiere to talk about that match more in depth and stuff.
Well, they just had. I don't know if you saw the clip from Broken Skull Sessions, but Bret Hart was on there, and they watched that match together.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about it, like, just like watching and commentating on it, and it's fucking really interesting to hear them talk about it, especially Austin. He's like, I'm really sorry, I fucking hit you a little too hard that couple times there. He's like,
The
you
thing is,
never hurt
I,
anyone,
I
but
I actually watched that. I was there for that match live.
yeah, damn.
Only
That's
WrestleMania,
crazy.
only WrestleMania I've ever been to, and I got to see that match live and stuff. And
Man,
since you
he
brought
had
it up, yeah, we'll talk about
Stone
it.
Cold does the fucking goofy, like big old chair shot, dude. One of my favorites.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the fucking hitting that railing and busting himself open. I mean,
Mhm.
the whole match, start to finish, like everything about it, like from them both coming out and Austin's still kind of a heel. Brett's still pretty solid baby face, although he's
But you
still
could
like,
see where they were going because you could see the fans were starting to cheer more for
yep,
Austin and boo Bret Hart.
yep,
So like that match just kind of sealed it. I mean, and it's very rare that you're ever able to pull something like what they were able to pull off in that match, where
no,
your ultimate baby face for the longest time in Bret Hart is now all of a sudden, you know, excuse me, yeah,
oh
he
no.
going to be
After that
be the top
match, I mean, the fans were like in his face, giving him the finger, and he's giving
Yeah,
it back to him, and it was just one of those things where it was like, it wasn't even that egregious, but it was just like he wouldn't stop fucking with Austin's leg after, and it pissed people off. And fucking, it was just like so well done. And the match itself is one of my all-time favorite matches.
yes,
Like, it's a perfect match, and
and
boy, oh boy, did the fucking blood make all the difference in that.
well, you think about that, because they just re-released that shirt. Like I think the first that they did, they released it. Like I think it was actually this past Friday because it was they were talking about it when I went to SmackDown in Chicago on this past week, and there it was for sale. But also too, one of the things that I really liked coming out of that match is it led to Bret Hart going on what I felt like was his best run in the
Most
WWE.
interesting, at
Most
least.
there you go. Most interesting. I liked it.
Yeah.
Those last like 7-8 months leading up to what happened at Survivor Series. I mean I think honestly that was the best mic work he'd ever done in the WWE.
It was just like him at his most interesting. Like, I Bret Hart's one of those guys. Like, I really do think that, like, when he gets in the ring and he's working, like when him and Sean work together, like, there aren't many wrestlers who are technically better than he was. Like,
Right.
I would have loved to see like a series of matches between him um and Kurt Angle. I would have loved to see him
Yep.
wrestle Benoit. I would have loved to see him wrestle
Well,
Guerrero
if
or Dean Malenko in like real life.
Brian Danielson.
Yeah, or I mean, I'm
eventually,
just thinking like in the same, like, that could have really happened where you could have had
Zack
those two,
Sabre
well,
Jr.?
it actually. Ooh, I like that, Zack
but
Jr.
but I but
Can I?
him
Can I?
himself is a little boring. That's all I was trying to say,
But
is
you
that
know
like
what? Though you
outside
mentioned
of that, he's a little boring.
one of
No,
the
100%.
one of the 5-star hot take. I honestly feel, and I've said this for the longest time, I feel like Owen was better all around.
Oh, all three of
All
us agree.
yeah.
I mean, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I love Brett. He's one of the best of all time. But honestly, I feel like Owen was better all around. But going back to Brett, you'd mentioned about some of the guys you would like to see him face. He actually did wrestle Chris Benoit a couple of times over in WCW. I mean, they did the tribute match to Owen Hart when WCW went to Kansas City, like for the first time after the accident, and then I think like about a month or two later, Bret Hart beat Benoit, I believe, for his first WCW title finals of that tournament. That was like all confusing as hell that they ran back in '99 and stuff.
Wow, what a shock!
But no, it was a great match, and a lot
I
of people,
just would
including
like to see like a few, like a real fucking program with those guys. That's all, like before
I
he
get
got
what you're saying.
injured.
Yeah,
But
I think that's
I mean,
part of it.
he was just that kind of wrestler. Like, he would have been great. Like, it doesn't matter that it's not that exciting outside of the ring. You just have these banger matches.
And just to think, he did eventually, make his way back to the WWE. And one of my all-time favorite Raw moments when he buried the hatchet with Shawn Michaels live on Raw. But just to think,
That was a wild fucking moment. I was not expecting that.
my phone blew up because I had people just like, "Oh my god, are you watching this? Are you seeing this?" and stuff. But kind of going, just to think, if the stuff with Goldberg had never happened, and he was able to wrestle well into the 2000s, to think if he would have eventually found because regardless, he would have found his way back to the WWE, because everybody somehow goes back. I mean, you look, like Hogan, Warrior, all these people that
CM Punk.
Right.
CM Punk.
But just to think, like, Bret Hart could have wrestled guys like John Cena, Randy Orton, who I thought would have been really good. And
Man, I'll tell you who never went back to the WWE, dude. Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
And
he never went back. He hated it. Don't you dare. I know you're thinking about it.
No, actually, I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because that's true. It is. It's just a random wrestler.
And he's one of those guys, and if we ever do an episode on guys that really never truly reached their full potential, I think Shane Douglas's name would be brought up.
Yeah, man, because that last big ECW run he had, he was so hurt the whole time. He's wrestling in a cast and shit.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, the whole triple threat, just his whole run in ECW. But kind of going back to the Bret Hart Austin match, it was kind of like what some people say was the kickoff of the Attitude Era. Like, that was what really started it.
I mean, I think it definitely kicked it into high gear. I mean, I think,
right.
For me, it goes back to the King of the Ring, but I think Austin, like the birth of Austin 316, I think is really the sort of the start of it.
But like you said, that's a good point.
But
kicked it. Kicked it into high gear.
I mean, Hogan turning heel, if you really want to,
But what? I don't know if I'd say that, because like it took WWE a while to counteract. It's not like they came up with DX right away, or all this stuff.
I mean,
for sure. But I mean, Hogan turning heel though, like, changed it changed wrestling in a very instant moment, and to me, that's when the kind of shift started happening, right? Because the good guy of all time is now a bad guy, which means that bad guys are cool.
Inside of WWE, I think the other really key moment is the screw job. I mean, I think it's hard to deny, what turning Vince McMahon into like the biggest heel in the history of wrestling.
Well, yeah, the start of the Vince McMahon character, right? I think that's the line, which is the screw job. So
and that really is like, I mean, the Attitude Era was Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon.
Okay,
that was the beginning of it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, but that's.
So, question for you both: if this match was not picked, and let's just say we'll throw this match out, and Paul Levesque calls you up. He calls you up, Isaac, and says, "Okay, we're thinking of putting a match or a moment, as we'll just stick with the match into the Hall of Fame. It's the first one. Shane, if Paul Levesque calls you and says, Shane, I need your help. I want to put a match into the Hall of Fame. What do you got? Which one? What would you guys pick? Isaac, I'll start with you.
One match to put into the Hall of Fame,
and taking Bret versus Austin out, and just anything else.
Foley and Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, 98.
Okay, Shane.
I mean, it's kind of a toss-up between two, and I'll throw it out there. One is Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 2000 and what, 5? 6?
WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was the last, it's the best, like, pure pro wrestling hardcore match the WWE has ever done. There was
I
so
like
much.
that take.
There was the tax. There was the theatrics. It was brutal. Everything was there. It felt very real because of the story that they had built and because it was Mick Foley doing it. Two, I think that match kind of made Edge. I think that Edge, became a very different, talent.
I think
After that night,
seriously, like that kind
yeah.
of cemented his status as a main.
Yeah, I mean, and Foley did the same thing for Randy Orton, right? In their
I would think so. Yeah, back in 2004, and that's that's probably my favorite Randy Orton match of all time. Is that match with Foley?
Can I guess, Shane? Can I guess the other one?
What?
Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka One Night Stand.
Well, that's not a WWE match.
Well, it technically is.
It is.
Dude, that should be in the fucking Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame because that match is perfect. It is so fucking good. It is a car wreck for like 11 minutes. But no, my actual second would be I think that Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. The unsanctioned or whatever, the first really long match they had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that was a NXT defining moment. And I think that the story they built, the crowd reaction, just everything about that match going into it, and just everything that they did, especially at the time they did it, in a very boring WWE. It's one of the GOATs, baby.
So for me, so one thing I want to say is with Isaac, and this is a little bit. This might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I feel like other than the two insane bumps that Foley took, the match was not good.
Well, I mean, it was not a good match because of what happened to Mick Foley, but
for the whole shit moments,
but I mean, the thing
spectacle
is ultimately for like what it is. It is probably one of the most defining moments in the history of WWE, as far as like when people will say wrestling is fake, and you'd be like, you want to see something fake? You show Mick Foley going off the fucking cage through the announce table.
Did either of you guys see the Dark Side? Did either of you guys see the Dark Side of the Ring episode yet?
No, I don't have a way to watch it.
I'll have to check it out.
I'm pissed off.
Well, I think Tubi. So there's some free streaming site. I think it might have been Tubi.
Tubi. Can't you? There's
Evolve,
I was gonna say there's a WWE show on
but
Tubi.
I think that's it.
Where is LFG?
That's on A. It's another really good show, and oh my god, William Contreras just said it looks like a 2-run home run to put the Brewers up 5-0.
No.
I loved LFG with fucking Walter going on and being like talking shit to the Undertaker about why he doesn't understand or why this girl doesn't understand that she's as good as she is. Did you just lose a bet, bud?
No, William Contreras made me lose a bet a couple of days ago.
Oh yes, that's right.
Fuck that guy.
I lost every single fucking bet I put on the fucking.
You and Giovanni need to start a support group or something,
bro. Isaac's here now.
I've got a bet right now on what is his name, Rory McIlroy. Is that his name?
The golfer.
Yeah, I got a $5 no sweat bet on him.
Dude, I love.
Speaking of golf, I cannot wait for Happy Gilmore 2 to hit Netflix.
I can't believe that they're making it. First of all, and second of all, I can't believe fucking Maxwell Jacob Freeman plays Happy Gilmore's son in
it. That's gonna be great. But
like, what the fuck?
So wait, that's confirmed. MJF is Happy Gilmore's son.
Yeah, it's been confirmed for a while.
Oh, nice. Okay, so going back to the topic at hand, I would go with, and I'm going to talk about the match, and I'm going to talk about, and I think it'll be pretty obvious why this match probably wasn't picked because I feel like if they were going to do this, that this would be the match they would go with. And that match is from WrestleMania 3, and that's Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Because really, without that,
But God, that match was fucking dog shit too.
but it's not even so much like the Hell in a Cell match you brought up. It was just
it's all just it's the one. It was the one slam that wasn't even that good of a slam.
But just think about what it meant.
I picked that monster up over my head, brother, and it's like chest level.
That match though, just what it meant so much for the business. I mean, that match sold out the Silver Dome, and just if that doesn't happen, WWE's done, and we're probably.
I mean, the first one too with fucking what was it, Roddy Piper and Hogan and Mr. T and all.
Mr. Wonderful.
Wow. Speaking of,
real quick before you go ahead, so I can finish this. So going back to the match, the obvious reason why I feel like that this was on the table, but I feel like the reason why they didn't go with it is because of all the heat Hogan's been getting lately. Like the last time when he was on Raw on Netflix, like he got booed out of the building.
Are they putting a match? Are they putting a match in the Hall of Fame? Or no?
Yeah, the Hart versus Austin match.
Yeah, that's going into.
Oh, is that what that's all? Is that what we're talking about? So I didn't even know that.
So speaking of other things also going into the Hall of Fame and old, Dennis, why don't you start with these legacy picks and work our way up?
All right, so we got 3 inductee people that are going to be inducted into the legacy wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, and we're going to start off with Dory Funk Sr.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, his two sons, I believe they're the only brothers that have held the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. I mean, the Funk family is one of the most important American wrestling families ever.
Absolutely. We have him. We have Ivan Koloff, the man who ended Bruno Sammartino's first reign as WWF champion. That ended it at 2,803 days. And the stories I heard about that match is that when Ivan beat Bruno, the place was so silent at Madison Square Garden you could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
And then last but definitely
have a pin that day.
But last but not
dropped it, and everyone would have been like, "It's over there, pal."
So, and then the last inductee into the legacy wing of the Hall of Fame is the Ugandan giant Kamala.
I mean, strong legacy wing inductees this year.
He should definitely be president.
Well,
I can't believe you didn't vote for him,
dude.
You know what?
Yeah, you remember when I said we're real lucky he didn't take another one of those pharmaceutical gummies, dude?
I'm right on the edge of that, aren't
I? Yeah, no, it would be terrible.
Real bad.
You can go ahead and X him now.
Okay.
For what?
Just because Shane told me to.
Okay, you can X Shane now for that.
Damn it!
All right.
Yeah, that felt powerful.
All right, so we talked about what they officially call the immortal moment, the match, and then the legacy wing. So we're gonna move on to the rest of the class, and we're gonna start with the tag team that is going in. A lot of people thought it was gonna be Demolition with them signing the Legends deal. That will happen probably. I would hope as early as next year's Hall of Fame class. But we have Earthquake and Typhoon, the natural disasters going in.
The natural disasters.
Yeah, good for them, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about two guys that went everywhere and fucking did everything, dude. I mean, the Shockmaster is getting into the Hall of Fame. And that's important.
Oh my God. I will never forget watching that live on Clash of the Champions. And
oh God.
Here he comes out with this, bedazzled, glittery stormtrooper helmet and just falls right through the wall. And that just kind of makes you wonder if he didn't fall through the wall and he actually went through the wall, what would have had, where they were going to go with this.
It would have been awful.
Yeah, who
no matter
knows?
what.
He would have still probably wound up as Uncle Fred or whatever they tried to call him and stuff, and he, telling stories and with Cody Rhodes a young Cody Rhodes sitting on his lap.
What's crazy is
it was way
John
funnier as
Tenta. John Tenta has looked like he's like 45 since he was like 17 years old.
You're not wrong with that,
dude. Like, if you go back and look at him when he was like in Japan wrestling and like he was like 20, 21 years old, he looked like he was 45. It was the craziest shit ever.
Oh, go ahead, Shane. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, to me, the natural disasters, like when you think like 80s big man tag team, maybe it's just me, but I think those two guys. Instantly, dude.
Like jumping around the guy on the ground.
I remember watching when that team formed, like, because I used to watch, I think it was on Superstars on Saturday morning, and like it was a match with, I think it was a 6-man. It was the Bushwhackers and Tugboat against, I think it was the Nasty Boys and Earthquake. And then when Tugboat turned on the Bushwhackers and joined up with Earthquake, I remember this is like 11-year-old me, like, holy crap, nobody's going to beat these guys, because you got two 400-pound plus guys that are now tagging together and stuff. But just what they did beforehand, you think about all the stuff Earthquake did. He feuded with the Ultimate Warrior. In fact, he debuted, taking out the Ultimate Warrior. I don't know if you guys ever saw the his debut where he got like Dino Bravo was doing
Dino Bravo.
Wasn't they pulled him out of the crowd or whatever?
Yeah, they pulled him out of the crowd.
Yeah.
And they were doing this thing with Dino Bravo and the Ultimate Warrior, and they're doing like a push-up contest with Earthquake on the back. Dino does it, and then the Warrior goes to do it, and then Earthquake just like jumps on him, and then they just all revealed it was a setup and stuff. And then he would go on to feud with Hogan. Remember, and then the other thing with Earthquake too is remember when he crushed Damien?
What the hell did you just say to me?
He crushed Damien.
Oh yeah, he did crush Damien.
Jake the Snake?
He got mad. He jumped all over it.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I'll see if I can find it on YouTube or something, Shane, and I'll send it to you. But and that was shortly before Jake turned heel on the Ultimate Warrior and started doing the whole Trust Me thing. But and another thing, we talked about Dark Side of the Ring earlier with the Hell in a Cell match. They had last season did an episode about Earthquake, and one of the things that I was watching that and was like, I think it was his wife or something said he always wanted to be the good guy because he wasn't a big fan of scaring the little kids and stuff. So it was really cool when they turned the Natural Disasters babyface, because it just seemed to me like he was always happy and just like, I think like that's what he's always wanted, and they had a nice run with the tag titles in the summer of '92 and everything. And then he just, like you said, look at what they did afterwards. It's just real shame though with what happened with Earthquake though, losing his battle to cancer, and just, as someone who lost, I lost my father due to cancer, and just a lot of loved ones and stuff. And it's just, to see someone like, Earthquake, have cancer take him, and it was sad. So it's going to be really nice. I know Tugboat or Fred Ottman has had some health issues as of late, but he's very active on Facebook and does the conventions and stuff. So I'm sure that's going to be a really big thing for him to represent the team and stuff. So it'll be fun and stuff. So good for them and that. So
yeah, and Fred deserves that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Both those guys really, especially all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Been everywhere, did everything.
Yep.
Yeah, so all right, so we got the Natural Disasters already. We talked about the Immortal Moment with Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, the Legacy Wing inductees, and now we're going to get into 3 more inductees that are going in, and we're going to start off with the lone female inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, and that is one Mrs. Mark Calloway, Michelle McCool.
Michelle McCool, huh? Yes, milk, because my friend made me a blueberry bundt cake and it's delicious, but it's only like you need a little milk with a bundt cake,
Yeah,
oh,
so you
man.
just gotta
You do.
You just gotta moisten it up.
Just so you know, I'm not drinking a bottle of milk like a freak.
Oh, man, I get down a bottle of milk.
Yeah, I mean, me too,
that does not shock me, Dennis. You seem like a prime, you seem like a guy who drinks a lot of milk. It might be the Chicagoland thing, it might be the Milwaukee connection, but Midwest screams milk, and you're it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, your thoughts on Michelle McCool going into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Michelle McCool definitely meant a lot to the time period she was in, but I also the time period she was in, especially for women's wrestling, was so bad that this one feels a little flat. I'm just gonna go out here and say it, dude. I don't think this happens unless she's married to the Undertaker.
I'm not taking away what she did accomplish, because I mean, women's champ, WWE women's champion 2-time, and she was the original WWE Divas champion, 2-time Slammy Award winner. And I mean, she had the with Layla, you know, when they were late cool, which I thought was really entertaining. But I agree. Yeah. I don't personally feel like there are many other women I think who should be in before she is. And I agree with her. You know, I would never say.
And when did she start dating Taker?
I want to say they've been together
like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say about like 15 or so years or something like that.
But before she started winning all the titles?
No, I think she had already been a champion. I don't think I don't think it was one of those things.
I just don't know the history. I'm just wondering if it was because of Taker from day one or not.
No. I mean, and like again, Michelle McCool was definitely one of, if not the best in the time period she was in. I just think that by you know, the things that she was doing were not good because the product was so bad at the time. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, let's be honest here. Michelle McCool was a good wrestler, but, you know, Michelle McCool's not going to run laps around, you know, most people. But yeah, no, I mean, again, good for them.
Was the fun tag team. They were mean girls.
Yeah, dude, the Mickey James shit was crazy.
So the Piggy James shit,
dude, Piggy James,
and Natty farting, like it was just such a weird time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good for them for.
Fart a lot.
I mean, good for them for at least acknowledging that time period in their own history of women's wrestling, because I mean, it was a desolate waste zone.
All right, so now we're gonna move on. This is the one that I'm really, really excited about, because I think I've told you guys in the past I'm a huge fan of this person, and I'm so happy he's finally going in, and that is the Total Package, Lex Luger. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know what it is about him, but there's just something that I've always felt drawn to him. Like, it's just the look, just the way he walked around, and just everything. I mean, I think about he was in the very first WCW pay-per-view I ever watched was when he won his very first world title. It was arguably one of the worst WCW pay-per-views of all time in the Great American Bash 1991. But I watched that. Was the first show I ever watched with my grandfather, who got me into wrestling. And like, you know, him winning that title. And I think about all over the years, you know, the feuds he's had with Sting, Flair, Savage, Hogan. I mean, Luger beating Hogan for the title on Nitro.
Yokozuna body slamming him.
Body slam challenge, the whole, you know, made in the USA gimmick, which to this day, I still feel like that was one of WWE's worst ever booking decisions, was what they pulled at the end of SummerSlam 93 when they had Luger win the match by countout. Treat it like he won the championship with bringing all the wrestlers out, doing the confetti and everything, but he didn't win the championship because he won via countout. And I've said this before, and I've talked, you know, in terms of alternate booking scenarios. I really felt like they could have put the title on him at SummerSlam, Let him hold it till Survivor Series. Drop it to Yokozuna, and then Yoko can go on to do his feud with the Undertaker, and Luger can feud with
Still not as bad as the Yokozuna fucking Hulk Hogan Bret Hart fucking debacle. The end of the fucking.
There's
We're talking about good things here, man.
Well, there's supposedly a documentary coming out on Peacock. I think it's either this week or next. That's something that's supposed to be about WrestleMania 9, like behind the scenes look at it or something. Because
what was that?
It being in Vegas and stuff. But I mean, even like just about mostly like the narcissist gimmick, I kind of dug.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't like the greatest thing, but I think Lex, especially at that time, I think they messed up trying to make him a face. I think he would have been a better heel, but just because he was an asshole at that point.
Yeah, and I mean and that was what the thing was. But I mean, if you ever get a chance to meet him, like go to a WrestleCon or whatever, do so, because I got the chance to meet him back at the very first StarCast back in 2018, and like seriously was one of the coolest experiences I ever had, because I went up to him. I said, I'm a huge fan, and he was very nice and gracious. And
I've heard he's changed completely. I mean, because like when he was like, that was one of the big things that they always said when he was doing like that, the Lex Express shit, was that he fucking hated it because he hated talking to people and he hated dealing with the fans.
And that's, I think, why they didn't put the title on him back then.
Yeah. But, I will say, and like talking about how nice he is, like I've heard that too, but what's really cool is yet again seeing DDP come in and working with a guy who fucking desperately needs the help and fucking giving him the help he needs. Like, dude, like that picture of you with Butterbean is fucking crazy to think that like Butterbean's in that good a shape, considering where he was like 2 years ago.
And one of the
barely being able to like, he couldn't stand up.
Yeah. And
wasn't he gonna like lose his legs or something?
I don't remember, but I know that he was like fucked up. Like he could barely stand up.
But like with Butterbean, like we talked about that, like when I met him at the Chicago Sports Spectacular about DDP and stuff. And actually one of the 8x10s he had on his table was like kind of like the evolution of Butterbean, like how they have those
posters. No,
the evolution of man.
Because they're making a documentary about it, and that's like that's the fucking cover for it or whatever. That's like that. If you find the video on YouTube, it's the same thing. It's like him going from being,
but I mean,
just with his walker back up,
and what he did for Luger, and stuff. But I mean, kind of going back, like to when I met him, he had no one around at his table, so I'm like, hey, do you mind if I, just sit and chat with you? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So we ended up talking, and it was mostly about the Lex Express stuff because I was a huge fan of that. I think it was about 5 minutes I got to just spend time talking with him before, he started having people come to his table, and I didn't want to take up all his time. So when people start coming, I was like, hey, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And he was very gracious, and, and I went on my way. And I'll never forget that. But I mean, he had his stuff that, that went down with Miss Elizabeth, which was extremely unfortunate. But like you mentioned, Shane, he's changed. Like he's totally just, he seems to be just so grateful to be alive and everything now.
No, I mean, it's kind of like the Shawn Michaels thing, although I think it's even more sincere in some ways than Shawn Michaels, but it's hard telling not knowing. I mean, like I think Shawn Michaels like seems to be really, really good for people to be around these days. So like he's done great stuff with the NXT talent. It seems like he really cares. And like it's good. I think Lex is I don't think was ever the greatest wrestler, but I do think he was like a really good example of what like pro wrestling was from that time period. And like I don't know if he like got the he didn't get the shot he should have gotten. Like he got a big old push, but it wasn't the push he should have gotten.
Right.
And and it's like it's one of those things that it's like sometimes that holds you back.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like if the Lex that we have now, like his personality and just the way he looks at life, if we had that back during
Yeah.
like the early to mid 90s, especially when he went to the WWE. He would have been in the Hall of Fame a long time. Would have been a multi-time WWF champion. Like he would have been amongst the all-time greats there,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just great to see that they're recognizing him for his talents and because he's deserved to have been going into the Hall of Fame for a long time.
And it's nice that he'll be around to see it because he's, like if they had waited a lot longer, who knows what happens.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you why he never went in before, and that's because fucking Vince could never stop shoving it to WCW in every fucking way he possibly could. And I think that, I mean, to be honest, I would associate Lex Luger with WCW more than I would the WWF.
I would too, because he had more success in WCW. I would want.
Yeah, I mean, you think about that first
moment.
WCW Nitro, right, in the Mall of America, and him coming out, and obviously long before the dirt sheets, long before anything else, shocking the world in that way. I think the only reason why he didn't get in before is because, like when Triple H took over, he's only had a couple, situations he had to get other people in. But I mean, Luger is, regardless of, and I feel like championships, especially for the Hall of Fame, are taken too much into account because, let's be honest here, it's not real, right? Who was the most entertaining, right? Who did fans resonate with, and who do you remember?
R-Truth
me matters a lot. Yeah, I mean, and R-Truth should make the Hall of Fame.
He's the number one Hall of Famer of all time. The only problem is he'll never age enough to retire to get in the Hall of Fame. He'll fucking him and Bobby Lashley, right? That shit was
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin. Who else was it? It was MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. The interviewer asked him why they don't age. It's like, why don't
RJ City.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you guys ever fucking age? And it's like truth, man.
Same thing. Which is incredible. He managed to make MVP Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin all break character with one, with one comment. Yeah,
really good one.
All right, so we're going to take a quick little break to hear from our friends at Waukesha Sports before we go into our last inductee into the class.
Waukesha hit a dab, baby. Woo!
Hey there, it's DDJ from 5 Star Takes, and when I come up to Milwaukee to see the Brewers play, there's one place that I always make it a point to stop at. Waukesha Sports Cards. Come on, let's go inside and check out what they got. Thank you. Thank you. Be sure to stop by one of their 3 locations or go to www.waukeshasportscards.com. And they have a real, for all our listeners, if anybody listens to the show lives in the Milwaukee area, they are really stacking up this show, that the sports card show that they have going on from the weekend of May 16th through the 18th with tons of Milwaukee Brewers, current players, former players, former and current Green Bay Packers, some Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, it is, if you're in the Milwaukee area and a sports fan, definitely head up there for the sports card show in Milwaukee the weekend of May 16th through the 18th. I'm planning on going up there, and I might be actually hanging out with someone from our brother's show, Shooting Shit, and I might be spending the weekend up in Milwaukee with the hot one, Giovanni Tuhati.
Oh shit.
Oh, hanging out with every Milwaukee player of all time, sounds like.
Yeah, and also too, speaking of Giovanni Tuhati, he and I will actually be, along with my wife and my son, we will be heading down to Casa de Silverwolf next weekend to watch night one of WrestleMania with Sean and his girlfriend.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm gonna be watching night one of WrestleMania after celebrating Easter, and then rushing home after working, multiple holidays on Sunday, and watching Mania night. So I'm about to figure out how am I gonna watch Stand and Deliver, Dennis? How?
Peacock.
Cock.
I gotta watch Bloodsport, Joey Janela's Spring Break 2. We'll talk more about this in our next episode.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of which, real quick before we get into our last inductee here, just kind of give you a taste of what's going on. Shane mentioned GCW and stuff. We're going to get you all set for WrestleMania weekend with our episode next week. We're obviously going to be spending the majority of the time previewing and giving our picks for WrestleMania. But Shane's very much into the independent scene, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So Shane's going to kind of fill us in on some of that and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say the independent scene as a whole by any means, but I definitely follow GCW. Yeah, mainly follow GCW. And they always run insane. Well, yes, but they're not running. Well, they are running WrestleMania Saturday. Dude, GCW's running Sabu versus Joey Janela in the year 2025, which is crazy.
On the same show where Natalia's going to be competing as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was saying this to Shane. We were watching Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's last match.
But real quick though, too, with Kevin Owens, truly sad what happened.
Just the worst. It's the worst ever, because that dude to me is the most undervalued talent in pro wrestling right now.
And after
Kevin Owens is elite.
Possibly the greatest, like the most undervalued, underrated talent of all time, too.
And I remember having no idea about this when he announced this at SmackDown, and I remember I was going with my friend Ty, and like he asked me, he's like, "Dude, is this legit?" And I was like, "I don't know," because I really didn't know, because I had no idea this was even a thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, and like it's okay. I was just gonna say, I mean, I didn't watch it live, but. You know, I was like, oh, this is a work, whatever. Then I saw CBS News report it, and I was like, oh, wait. Yeah, this seems pretty... It's such a fucking bummer.
Yeah. Like,
anyways, but yeah, the last...
6 years, if ever, he comes back.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well...
It's heartbreaking. But anyway,
Shane came back after 9 years, so anything's possible.
Yeah, but Shane and I were watching that match, and we were talking about something. What were we talking about before this? We had a conversation anyway. It was a good conversation. We talked about many things, and I forget where I was headed.
We were talking about Kevin Owens. We were talking about
the independent scene, maybe.
Yeah, GCW, and you said it's insane because I was thinking while we were watching.
Okay, yeah, no, and we were talking about Bloodsport, right? And how fucking crazy it is that of all the promotions, right, that of all the fucking shows that happen, WWE will send like fucking whatever wrestlers basically like want to go do Bloodsport. Like it's fucking wild,
dude.
Like last year when they had fucking Dempsey and the Creed brothers on the show.
Yeah,
someone else. And Shayna Baszler.
Part of Bloodsport.
She's a mainstay at Bloodsport. She's been there a couple times.
Yeah,
which
too.
I mean, which is awesome because I don't know, dude. I feel like the best pro wrestlers, a majority of them at least, have spent time on the independent scene, right? I feel like sending guys that you really want to succeed to go work GCW for 6 months and have to deal with drunk fucks like me sticking their middle fingers into their face and screaming "fuck you" at them, like that's good for pro wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of independence and being good for pro wrestling, did you see what the new stipulations are for like the WWE ID championships?
Yeah, they said that they could be defended against anyone. Like once the champion's crowned, he can defend it against anyone, and if that person wins, they get a WWE ID contract.
Yep. Which is a
That's awesome.
fucking great idea.
And
Like,
one of
Yeah,
the
and
things,
way to elevate the indies, right?
yeah,
exactly, and make
and
like every match with that actually mean something, because if you can actually win that, you're not just winning the belt, you're getting a shot at what you really fucking want.
yeah.
And it's obviously it's like it's gonna be fucking scripted as like
And one of the
look,
coolest
it's
things
a really good
that's
idea.
one of the coolest things that's really come out of this is remember back in the early days of NXT when Bailey was there, doing the hugging gimmick, and she had that little girl
Izzy.
that, yeah, she actually is going to be competing. I believe I can't remember if it's at the GCW show or something for a chance to like qualify for the WWE ID tournament. I just think that's the coolest thing, that an 8-year-old girl who was like a diehard WWE fan is basically on the verge
of starting her own wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, she's been wrestling for a while down. I know she's wrestled for Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro promotion down in Texas and stuff.
It's
like, she's been doing quite well in the independent scene, but just to think that she gets this chance to live her dream, and and it's just the coolest thing. But
wait a few more years till she's in a feud with Bailey.
Yeah, that's gonna be something. So Shane, we're over an hour into the show. I'm starting to get hungry for dinner. Why don't you Why don't you introduce our listeners to the final inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame? We can start winding down.
Yeah, I mean the main eventer is Triple H. I don't feel like there's I don't feel like there's much that really needs to be said here. You can have your issues with Triple H, and they're probably well deserved.
But he's the Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, I mean he's the definition of a Hall of Famer. Yeah. I mean, and you also have to take into account, man, he had a really, really good run with the Reorganized Evolution, right? He had a really good match against Daniel Bryan, at that WrestleMania.
Well, I mean,
something's happened in the baseball game.
Jackson Churio just hit a 3-run home run.
Man, fuck Jackson Churio.
4th home run of the season. He is.
I hate
he is
Honey Nut Cheerio. But yeah, no, I mean, no, you're right, man. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's the dictionary definition, man. DX.
Yeah, and I mean, and going all the way back,
the game.
Yeah, even when he was just Hunter Hearst Helmsley, they were gonna send him to the fucking moon. And then
he hugged his friends.
Yeah, he hugged his friends. But I mean, terrorizing.
Jean-Paul Levesque.
Jean-Paul Levesque.
And the thing, Regal was the one that told him to go to the WWE while they were both in WCW.
Yeah.
And you talk about the thing, the push. He was originally supposed to. And this thing had the curtain call not happened, he would have won King of the Ring that year. That's been.
And what a crazy thing to get through that whole career.
Just think about
the Ring.
Think about how different things would be, because obviously he wins King of the Ring. Does Austin 316 ever happen?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, something else happens, but no. And then you look at you consider the time when he came up in the business and what was going on, and he kept his nose clean, which is really something. And he just buckled down and he did his shit. You never, he got himself in trouble that one time for something that was he shouldn't have fucking gotten in trouble for. It was stupid. And he buckled down and he fucking got thrown in a bunch of pig shit. And he took his lumps and he kept going. And
he took it like a professional. And the thing was, is he kind of really didn't. They didn't really have much of a choice for that, because you figure Shawn was a champion, and then Hall and Nash were leaving for WCW, so he had to take the fall. Unfortunately,
I will say though that as much as as good as he was, he was pretty fucking good. Jim Cornette, he always described him as the guy that would wrestle the guy. He's whoever the good one, the guy was, you'd have Triple H wrestle him. But like he fucking can't cut a promo to save his life. Like his promos just go on and on and on and on. It's like
Bro,
fucking
just like Kenny Omega's promo from the fucking
First
April
36
9th, 2025 at
Yeah.
about 20 minutes in, dude.
Yeah, it's
one
like the
other-
difference between a fucking Triple H promo and life is that life ends.
Yeah. So, but
Oh,
one other
man.
thing that we also got to mention, you talked about DX and everything, Evolution.
Yeah. No, Evolution was incredible
Evolution
too.
is a mystery.
And then he also put on 2 fucking like just top tier WrestleMania matches with Shawn.
You mean
You
Taker?
know,
He never wrestled Shawn at Mania.
he did 2 against Taker. Sorry, Shawn. Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
Shawn
he-
was
he
he
put- he
was
put
the
on a-
referee, right?
Shawn, he's wrestled
in
Shawn
the
at
last one.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Like the Helen,
He wrestled both of them twice.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
I
Shawn
mean, like,
was the guest referee at Hell in the Cell
at
for
the
the
Hell in the
last
Cell,
Triple H
yeah.
match.
But those Triple H Undertaker matches were fucking great, man.
And you forget about and the thing is I agree with you in that.
He had 3 of them.
Yeah,
against
because and that's
Taker.
what I was going to say is that nobody ever talks about the match they had at WrestleMania 17, which was arguably really good as well too. You know, when it was the American Badass and Motorhead played Triple H to the ring and stuff. But I mean, just everything. Yeah, no, and then just not only what he's done as a wrestler, but what he's doing as a booker. I mean, it's not perfect, but man, just to think about where we were 5 years ago, especially when the pandemic was just hitting, even before the couple of years before.
Zombies, baby.
I mean, it was literally night and day.
Yeah.
It was
Zombies.
literally night and day from when Vince got ousted to
Mysterio got thrown off a building. He got
and his eye gouged out. Yeah, it was awesome.
Miz got eaten by zombies.
Stop talking shit about the Money in the Bank from 2020. It was awesome.
It was the worst.
It was the best.
Oh man!
I feel like one of the like Otis or something is still stuck under a bar somewhere.
Shane, what did you say about the 2020 Money in the Bank?
It was, the Sally Slices guy, the guy who looks like an alien, and he does like the Instagram reels. The best. He's pizza. The best. Dude, that's bullshit. That's bullshit of the highest. That's bullshit of the highest order. No, I will.
You know what?
Dude, what? I'm gonna drink beer at you, dude.
Drink beer at me, because here's the thing. I want to place a quick jingle for our next segment before we go over too hard. Yeah, play that beautiful bean footage, or roll that.
It's time for Picks or It Didn't Happen with Isaac. Hey, that's me.
It's me. All right. 2 of my least favorite wrestlers of all time, the Young Buck. Look at you too. That was a while back too, wasn't it?
That was, if I remember correctly, that was the day after All In.
Wow. Okay.
But wait,
there's some more.
And that was all out weekend the following year.
I
also have a picture.
Oh, I thought he was gonna do another one.
No, not with the Young Bucks, because the criteria was they had to both be in the picture.
Yes.
But I do have a picture as well.
So you have more pictures with each of them.
I have one picture with Matt Jackson standing outside the Pro Wrestling Tees store.
Nice.
All out weekend. So, but Shane, you also had someone you suggested for
can
have this week.
Yeah, Prince Nana. Yeah, Swerve when I drive. Yeah, yes.
They're not friends anymore, though, are they?
No, they're cool.
Oh,
But you're dapping up Prince Nana?
Dude,
that's sweet.
That is the most fucking Chicago.
That's sweet.
Dude, he was so being a wrestler, I dabbled in Ring of Honor in the early days and stuff, and one of the characters that always stuck out to me was Prince Nana. So like when I saw he was going to be a StarCast, I was like, I knew I had to meet him just because he hadn't really caught on. Like I think he just started with Swerve, and he wasn't really as over as he was at the time because I think Swerve was still kind of a heel, and this was coming off the heels of All In when they were in London the week before. But dude, just sitting there and talking with Nana, he honestly is such a very humble guy who's appreciative of where he's at and stuff. And it's just,
Well, yeah,
he's
I
one
mean,
of those guys. After meeting him, it makes it so much easier to root for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, working a normal job will do that to you, right? I mean, you know, being, I mean, and I mean this as no disrespect to Prince Nana, right? But being like a manager on old school Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing nothing pretty much anywhere else. Leaving, going in, I can only assume working a normal job for 10 years or whatever. Coming back to, you know, I mean, at that time, you know, just work and pro wrestling.
Well, it was basically, that was right after, I think not long after Khan had bought Ring of Honor, and he brought Nana back because he was a huge Nana fan. And then he just caught on because he took over, I think it was the guys that Tully Blanchard was managing.
Yes.
You know, brought back the embassy, but then it caught on like when he hooked up with Swerve and
the Mogul Embassy.
And then just from there, they went off together. And I mean, he is like the ultimate hype man right now.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, and then, I mean, obviously to where he is now, I mean, this has got to be a fucking dream. He is so over. He and Swerve are so over. And listen, and for good reason, because Swerve fucking rules.
Yep.
He is, yeah.
Swerve is so good.
So,
yeah.
But
dude.
Speaking of things that were so good, this episode was freaking awesome, and we hope you enjoy it. And we hope
such good shoot right here, man.
It was, man, a little bit of a throwback to that. So, Shane's kind of given the model wave. Is that what it is?
The Queen of England wave.
Gigi Dolan wave.
Oh, it's the Gigi Dolan.
Shit.
Last minute update before we cut the feed. Brewers are winning 9-2 in the top of the fifth.
Jesus Christ.
Man, I wish I would have put money on that game.
Not bad. Hey, not bad for a team that started out 0-4 and is on its way now to be going up to 7-5. So.
And you're probably still down like fucking like overall like 10 or 15 runs.
Yeah, because the Yankees scored about 700 runs in the first 3 games.
I was going to say, it was like the run differential is
you know what? That's
really weird right now.
More and more I see this. Hey, look at it this way. Whether you lose by 15 runs or you lose by 1 run, it only counts as 1 loss.
Oh, no, I get that. You know what? Crazy stat about Barry Bonds? So in the 2008 season, he had as many home runs as he did plate appearances. Crazy, but true.
Which was what? None?
Yeah, he didn't play at all.
I don't even watch baseball. I just know your tricks.
He retired in 07.
You know what, Shane? We're going to end it on this for you.
Ding.
Sorry, bro. Legends of the Ring Sting, man. This is a great figure, old school figure. Looks great. It's Sting! Old school Sting from WCW. Guys, you know us, 3/4 of the Shooting Shit team, and we're here with a listener just like you guys. This is Jimmy from Super Powers Comics.
My friend of almost 20 years. He's known him since you were 12.
If you know people in Chicago, you probably know Dennis because he knows half the town, of course. But shooters, if you need action figures, comics, wrestling memorabilia, we just showed you Sting. Superpowers Comics will put up their QR code so you can get a good look at everything they have coming. Give it a shot, shooters. Get your superpowers on and get your comics from our friend Jimmy, who listens just like you.
Save 25% on your first order when you use the code 5-STAR.
Attention wrestling fans and fans of Shootin' Shit podcasts. You can now be one of the cool kids by going to ProWrestlingTees.com and buy the official Shootin' Shit t-shirt. Buy it now and be there at ringside.
This episode and all episodes of 5-Star Takes are now available on YouTube at www.youtube.com/@5-Star Takes. Be sure to like and subscribe. Get all of your 5-Star Takes news and updates by going to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/SHOOTINSHT. And as always, thanks for watching.